Hi everyone. Okay, so the next bit of the text we're going to read is we're going to have a quick look at a page, not in too much detail, but after we learnt about Shackleton and his second in command, and they hired 26 men to join them. It does have illustrations of those crew members. I'm not going to go over each of their names with you. However, you can see there the individuals that were chosen. So this was after they'd written their letters to apply for the post. So we've got people that were artists, we've got surgeons, we've got cooks, we've got carpenters. So they had all different roles on board the ship for this expedition. So they were not all the same skills that they shared. And obviously that would be a good thing, that they all had different skill sets. Now, there were also other companions. There were dogs. In 1914, a cargo of 99 dogs was sent from Canada to London. Of these, 69 were chosen for the expedition, so 69 dogs were chosen as well to go on the expedition. Shackleton and the crew gave them all names. Some of them were named after famous people, and some were named after crew members. I'm not going to go into all of their names with you. The dogs came from a mongrel mixture of breeds, including Newfoundlands, St Bernards, Eskimo dogs, wolfhounds and wolves. Now, crossbreeding the dogs meant that they were very strong and they had qualities such as a very thick coat and they had a good temperament. So this links to what we were talking about in science not so long ago about crossbreeding and how humans are able to create animals which had certain qualities. So say for example you had a female dog which had a very thick coat, but then you had a male dog that was very strong and very fast. If those two dogs were bred together, then you would hope over time through crossbreeding that the offspring of those two dogs, so that means the puppies, the babies that they had, would have a mixture of qualities from the mother dog and the father dog. The lively dogs were to play a vital role, so an important role in Shackleton's expedition. Their ability to pull more than their weight, brave the cold, and work in packs meant that they were at home in Antarctic conditions. They were expected to cover up to 20 miles a day with a loaded sledge, so a very heavy sledge that they were kind of pulling along. Each crew member was assigned at least one dog to care for, and many developed strong bonds with them, especially second-in-command Frank Wild, Tom Crean, and the photographer Frank Hurley. Now the next bit is looking at the ship, which was called Endurance. Originally intended for tourist cruises and polar hunting, the Endurance, or Polaris as she was initially named, was perhaps the strongest wooden vessel in the world, with the exception of the Fram. She was named after Shackleton's family motto, "By endurance we conquer." Now, Endurance was designed by a man called Larsen and constructed under the watch of master shipbuilder Christian Jacobsen at Framnes shipyard in Norway. Jacobsen, being a meticulous craftsman, made sure that all the men who worked on the ship's construction were experienced seafarers as well as skilled shipwrights. One of the main differences between the Endurance and the Fram was that the Fram was bow-bottomed, allowing her to rise out of the ice if she became stuck. Luckily for Shackleton, the original owners Adrian de Gerlache and Lars Christiansen were in financial straits and desperate to sell the ship. Being supportive of Shackleton's intentions, they were happy to sell Endurance for £11,600, which is approximately £45,000 in today's currency, a fraction of the original cost, so Shackleton got himself a bargain. Being such a unique ship, Endurance had to be worked on with a whole host of conventional and unconventional carpentry tools. Endurance was built from Norwegian fir, oak and greenheart, so that's the different types of wood. A very robust and sturdy little ship, Endurance was designed specifically to withstand harsh polar conditions. This meant that wherever possible, joints and fittings were cross-braced and strengthened, making her extremely strong. So the ship was very, very strong in order to pass through the ice. Later on, a platform was rigged and under the jib boom so that Hurley was able to film the ship breaking through pack ice. The bow, the front that is, would be used like a battering ram to break up thick ice, so it had to be especially strong. In total, it was 1.3 metres thick. Her keel was made up of 4 sandwiched pieces of solid oak, totalling to a thickness of nearly 2.2 metres, while both her sides were 0.7 metres thick. Each piece of timber, so each piece of wood, had been selected carefully from a single oak tree so that it would fit the design and curvature of the ship. So the Endurance wasn't just any ship, she was a really special ship. The way she was built was purposely to go on this expedition. Now, equipment and supplies. As well as supporting a crew of 28 men and 69 dogs, Endurance carried a large amount of cargo. Journeying into the heart of Antarctica meant that Shackleton would need to carry a whole array of exploration equipment and supplies to keep him and his crew alive in hostile conditions, from sledges and skis to blankets and mitts. Just before departure, Shackleton was presented with the Union flag by King George V, who encouraged him to bring it back safely. And that's where we're going to stop today. So it's all kind of set up, ready for them to go off on their expedition, which we're going to look at next time. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. I've got some questions for you, and I will see you again soon.